you, the envoys who are dispatching, and the 7 envoys who have joined us are going to be among the most prepared envoys we've ever dispatched in the history of Ghana. Because I've been looking through your course topics. For those of you who don't have this, it details all the things you're going to be taking through and all the people who are going to grant those lectures. And the resource persons are among the best minds we have in this country, and the topics are very well chosen. My uncle Ishmael Yamson just gave you a very good talk, and in his talk he touched on geopolitics, the current geopolitics, and there are several things he said that you should take away. He said the only certainty in this world today is uncertainty. And it's true, the world is unpredictable today. We had the Second World War, and after the Second World War, we created the United Nations, and we had a Cold War. Now the Cold War created a very predictable world because the superpowers had enough nuclear weapons to destroy this world 100 times over. And so they themselves realized that nobody will survive a nuclear war. And so it made the world predictable, because nobody will start a nuclear war because you can't win it. And then the cold curtain fell, and we entered a unipolar world and the era of globalization. By unipolar world means that America was just the greatest and all the other superpowers had been diminished. Today's world is more uncertain because there are regional powers, the world is changing, and we don't know where all that is going to end. We have different power groupings that are developing. The BRICS have gone on their own. You have the US on its own. And the US is a strange cup of tea because it is quarreling with its allies. The US has always been strong because of NATO and the alliance with Europe. But now Europe are realizing that can we depend on the US, going forward? So it's created a whole, uncertain atmosphere, and that's what you're going into as an ambassadors. And so you must take that at the back of your minds. And then he also said that the reset agenda must be accompanied by a reset of our minds. That is a mindset, to change our mindsets. And I think that's true because looking at our experience in Japan and Singapore, those countries have achieved a good reset for themselves. Japan was destroyed by the World War, but today Japan is one of the first-class countries in the world. Singapore gained independence 8 years after us in Ghana. Lee Kuan Yew actually visited Ghana twice, in 1964 and in 1966. And today Singapore has gone from third world to first world. One of the things I noticed is the discipline of their people, their attitudes, and most of all, their value system. They have become modern first world countries without losing their values. Their values are still their traditional values of honesty, of cleanliness, of discipline, and all that. Unfortunately, in most of Africa, we think that modernization is adopting other values of other people. And so our values of cleanliness, we are abandoning. I remember when we were growing up as children, early in the morning at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., they wake us up with our mothers and things, and we take brooms and sweep around the whole house and gather all the litter. Today, who cares? We have value system of honesty. People could trust you in any transaction and know that you would deliver. Unfortunately, that's not the case. There's a lot of mistrust. You cannot trust anybody, to honor a transaction. And so one of the things that the minister left out was they accepted that we should send a team from our parks and gardens to show them how to create, an enabling environment in our cities. And so that's one of the offers they gave, that we should send our parks and gardens to come and visit their botanical garden and to see how they keep their cities in an environment that encourages people to want to come in and visit. And so those are some of the things that we need to look at. But I think that above all, it is catching them from when they are young. Maybe for us, the adults, we are set in our ways and it's too late to redeem us. But if you look at countries like Singapore and Japan, they inculcate these values in the children from when they are as young as ever. And so they grow with those values. There's something we say, I don't know if it's a quote from the Bible, it says, teach the child the way he should go, and when they grow, they will not depart from it. I think that is what they do. They inculcate these values in the young people. For some of us, we got some of those values inculcated in us, because I remember when we were growing up, we were taught responsible citizenship and courtesy. I mean, I know that I shouldn't go and sit at a table and be eating and belching, or what do you call it, burping. And I noticed that for ambassadors, there's etiquette here. They're going to teach you that when the queen invites you to, or the king invites you to dinner, you don't go, That's why I say you're going to be amongst the most prepared people, because there's etiquette in this book. And there's so many things. I'm impressed with the curriculum for this orientation. Bevlo Latte is going to give you the situation in the Sahel region so that you understand the basis of the conflict and violence, extremism. You're going to have training on media. You're going to have training on personal and document security. That is important. How to handle confidential documents and all that. You're going to have that. Ambassador Yao Bimpong is giving that lecture. Dr. Kospio Gabra is giving a lecture on economic diplomacy. And everybody knows the pedigree of Dr. Kospio Gabra. You have a paper on Ghana's strategic interests vis-a-vis South-South cooperation, Asian Tigers, BRICS, and others. And so I believe that you're going to be equipped with everything that you need to be able to give a good account of yourselves. And so I just want to add and to thank our Royal Majesty King Takite Kochuru for the comprehensive statement he made. Indeed, after his statement, I wonder if I need to make one. I think he's the keynote speaker, because he had everything. He had everything contained in there. And so you can take my statement as remarks. And we've already had the keynote address by His Royal Highness. And so from the days of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who envisioned a united and influential Africa, Ghana has sought not merely to participate in global affairs, but to shape them. And that legacy now rests upon you as our distinguished ambassadors, high commissioners, and envoys. In today's world, Ghana's place will not be handed to us. It must be earned and defended through our choices and our work. And so this gathering today affirms a simple truth. The future of our republic depends in no small measure on how you effectively carry Ghana's name and interest into the world. The theme of this year's conference, Harnessing the Dividends of Diplomacy for Ghana's Reset Agenda, reminds us that diplomacy must deliver tangible results. Jobs for our youth, markets for our farmers, technology for our innovators, dignity for our citizens abroad, and prosperity for all. When Ghanaians entrusted us with their mandates in December 2024, they did so during an economic crisis and a period of diminished trust in our governance. Out of this challenge, we introduced the Reset Agenda, which is a comprehensive blueprint to restore hope, rebuild trust, and rekindle prosperity. At the core of the Reset Agenda lies the imperative of work, dignified, meaningful, and sustainable employment. And so initiatives such as the 24-hour economy, the Women's Development Bank, the Agri-Reset Program, and youth apprenticeship schemes are all currently underway. And yet their success depends on the partnerships you cultivate abroad, the capital, the technology, the markets, and the knowledge we attract. The distinction between foreign and domestic policy has become increasingly blurred in today's interconnected world. The agreements you secure in Brussels, Beijing, or Washington will reverberate in Tamale, Kumasi, Ho, and Accra. For this reason, economic diplomacy is now the cornerstone of Ghana's foreign policy. Our missions must evolve into hubs of economic engagement, facilitating trade, attracting investments, and promoting innovation. I therefore charge you to promote investments in Ghana's priority sectors: industrialization, renewable energy, digital services, agro-processing, infrastructure, and tourism. I charge you to expand our export markets, especially for value-added goods, such as processed cocoa, shea butter, textiles, crafts, and digital services. I charge you to mobilize our diaspora not only as remitters of money, but also as investors, innovators, and partners in Ghana's development. Your success is going to be measured not by ceremony or protocol, but by the scale of investment, trade, and opportunities you help secure for the people of Ghana. The Reset Agenda is also about governance, rebuilding public trust through transparency and accountability. And so as our representatives abroad, you must embody these values. The missions must be managed with integrity, efficiency, and professionalism. Our citizens abroad must experience fairness and respect for our diplomacy's credibility. Our missions must be managed with integrity, efficiency, and professionalism. Our citizens abroad must experience fairness and respect, for our diplomacy's credibility is inseparable from the credibility of our governance. Ghana's diplomacy must continue to stand firmly in panafricanism. At ECOWAS, the African Union, and the United Nations, we must remain a principled voice for justice, fairness, and peace in the world. Our government will continue to champion the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement with headquarters in Accra, because this will serve as a foundation for Africa's industrialization. We will champion the establishment of African financial institutions to secure our sovereignty, and the AU's Agenda 2063 for a peaceful, prosperous, and integrated Africa. We must also confront our most significant existential challenge, and that is climate change. Climate change is not an abstract for Africa and for Ghana. Our farmers face erratic rainfall, coastal communities are losing their homes from tidal waves, and our forests and rivers are threatened by bushfires. And this is why climate diplomacy is also at the heart of our foreign policy. We'll continue to advocate for climate finance, fair carbon markets, technology transfer, and climate-smart agriculture. Ghana must be projected as a leader in renewable energy, sustainable farming, and environmental stewardship. Our greatest resource is not our gold, our oil, or our cocoa. It is our people. Education, skills, and technology remain central to the Reset Agenda. As envoys, you must secure scholarships and training opportunities for our young people. You must forge academic and research linkages between institutions of higher learning abroad and our universities and training colleges in Ghana. You must attract technology and new innovation partnerships between our countries and the host countries where you serve. In doing so, you will help our youth to compete in the industries of the future. For too long, success in diplomacy was measured by the pomp and ceremony. Today, that has changed. This conference marks the launch of key performance indicators for heads of mission. These KPIs will track 8 areas, and the first is economic diplomacy, the second is consular services, the third is diaspora engagements, the fourth is financial management, the fifth is security and ethical compliance. These will ensure that every mission aligns with national priorities and delivers measurable results. And so this marks a new era, a foreign service that is transparent, accountable, and judged by outcomes. Ambassadorial appointments are no longer posts for retirees. You are required to establish bridgeheads in your countries of posting to create opportunities for Ghanaian businesses and at the same time facilitate the flow of trade and investment into Ghana. Distinguished envoys, your appointment is both an honor and a solemn duty. Tell Ghana's story with confidence, not as a nation constrained by challenges, but as a people defined by resilience, creativity, and determination. And so, it is now my singular honor to declare open the 2025 Conference of Heads of Missions and Orientation Program for newly appointed envoys of Ghana, and to formally launch the key performance indicators for our head of missions. May God bless you in your service and bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong.